healthcare system, ladies and gentlemen, we see that the reason why it's termed public healthcare system is because it's for the public. And when you talk about public, we're talking about every single person in the public, which includes people who does work on high-risk spots or not. And we think that alone already tells everyone that the government is going to be fair and treat everyone equally, give them the basics, the basic healthcare system, and help them no matter what kind of occupation they have, no matter what kind of spots they like to take. Now, we see a few clashes of the debate here today. Should we hold money for healthcare versus equality, or is the whole justification for not paying for healthcare and letting them suffer for 1 month? Is it in the first place justification because they have apparently accepted the risk? And second of all, we need to save money because of the deficit. Now, I'll be tackling that one by one, ladies and gentlemen. Now, first of all, the money that is being spent for healthcare, which I'll be tackling on the taxes and utilities at this point, we think that the taxes that they have, keep bringing up here today is really quite a minor point, and it shouldn't even really stand. Because we see in the first place, they have contributed years of taxes, and we think that if you have paid for 17 years of taxes, we think that it's more than enough to cover one operation. And no, thank you, sir. No, thank you, sir. We see that it's ridiculous to assume that the entire healthcare system and the government's entire financial budget for the year will apparently collapse because of a small minority, ladies and gentlemen. We find it amazing that they can actually blow up the whole matter of this injury to the point where this deficit will be in further trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We think that this point is really ridiculous for them to bring it up, because we don't think that this money for a few select people will apparently be so.
Exactly, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We don't think that the money that's going to be put into these few people for healthcare is going to be such a dangerous thing. Because in the first place, we don't think that every single sportsman in all these higher sports will enter the arena and then come out majorly injured, and every single one of them will require this huge ass operation. We think that the people who actually get thank you, sir. I think the people who actually get injured are not really a big are not really a majority, but rather a minority, ladies and gentlemen. And we see that there's no reason to change the entire system just for a small minority. When in the first place, it jeopardizes the entire idea of equality in America, ladies and gentlemen. We think that equality, we think that equality is something that has been present throughout throughout my first speaker and second speaker. We have really talked about how they actually contribute the same to the government, to the country, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you, sir. We think that they have contributed in terms of their job, in terms of society, where they actually bring in their own skills, where they actually contribute their taxes as well. We think that in all these areas, it actually puts them on the equal standing as everyone else, ladies and gentlemen. So we think that in terms of equality, they deserve healthcare same as everyone else, regardless of their sports, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you, sir. We think that you can actually get this life-threatening injuries not just via high-risk sports, ladies and gentlemen. We think that you can get major injuries via drunk driving. Why don't you put this policy for people who actually go on the drunk driving? We think that they also accepted the risk of drinking and driving, but then they still get the healthcare. And we think that it's easier to get a really bad injury via drunk driving. When you crash an entire car, I think that an injury would be just as life-threatening as high-risk sports, ladies and gentlemen, and something that's actually guaranteed. Now, second of all, on the thank you, sir. No, thank you, sir. And second of all, on the thank you. And we also think that justification for not paying because they're going to force every single sportsman who are on these sports, to sign indemnity forms and to accept their own risk. We don't think that is actually justification enough to actually trump equality, ladies and gentlemen. We think that everyone has accepted the risk of going out and walking on the streets or jaywalking. We think all these are accepted risks, ladies and gentlemen. And we think that the whole justification for accepting their own risk isn't really going to actually trump the whole idea of equality. And also, they have talked about no, thank you. They also talk about how this will actually deter people from high-risk sports, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing because we can basically keep them safe in their own homes. Now, we think that is ridiculous. First of all, we think that there are people who are professional sportsmen, ladies and gentlemen. There are people who are professional skydivers. Are they going to make them quit their jobs? I don't think so. We think that there are people who are actually no, thank you, sir. We think that there are people who are actually professional divers and people who go and people who dive for a living, ladies and gentlemen. People are also climbing mountains for a living. We think that all these can be professions. I'm going to ban them from their job. And we don't think that the whole idea of this 1 month not having... And that's why they are 1 month not giving them healthcare system wouldn't actually apply for them because they're professional. They do it on every single... No, thank you, sir. They do it every single day. And we also think that this whole idea of deterring people is supposed to be a good thing. No, thank you. I'll take it later. Okay, never mind, yes. Yes.
If it's that, okay, let's say professional mountaineers, we are saying that if this is their job, they should get insurance out of this job. They should get money.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You are still not replying my whole question of how is it fair to deny them because of their job. You cannot exactly answer us on why is it fair to deny them of this public healthcare system, which is applied to every single one by the virtue of them being Americans, by the virtue of them being equal in society. We don't think that actually. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you, sir. We don't think that actually applies to our ladies and gentlemen. And back to my point on how it actually deters people and it's a good thing. And we think that first of all, it goes against the whole idea of capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. And let me explain to you why it does that. Because first of all, in capitalism, you're supposed to promote every single strength of every single person, no matter what your job, ladies and gentlemen. So by deterring them from actually going on to this profession, you're actually deterring the pool of people who are going to excel in their own strength and in their own arena, ladies and gentlemen. And we think that is something that doesn't really work in capitalism because you are supposed to promote the strength and promote the elite people, and that is how you actually get the idea of capitalism working. When we have a group of people who are up there who are actually leading their own field, ladies and gentlemen, and we don't think that we should actually deter that, especially in America, ladies and gentlemen. And we also think that a deterrence is not something that is good and can never be good just because of what idea of keeping them to that the government doesn't have to actually pay for their medical bills. We think that putting money over the life of the people is ridiculous, and even in the whole idea of this 1 month policy, we think that if someone gets a life-threatening injury on day 1, are they going to wait 30 days for the healthcare if you don't have enough money to pay for it? We think that is